Hi guys, and welcome to this video where I will explain my Templar Dual Totem Storm Call Chaos Inoculation crit build. Um, this build is largely based on an existing build on the forum, NKFirestorm, Storm Call Templar, but this is just my version. I don't think there is that much differences between my version and his build, but as I think there is no gameplay video in his thread, and yeah, I thought I could just explain how my version works. So this build, as you can see, I'm a Templar, level 89 in Nemesis, so I'm doing pretty good. This build is definitely not noob friendly. If you're starting in Path of Exile and you want to play a Templar, or you're just starting in Path of Exile, I suggest you take another build. Just try, I don't know, like Spectral Throw, uh, double strike, melee splash, and stuff like that. Pretty much easier, so you can figure out how the mechanics of the game work. This build is definitely more for people that know uh, a lot about the game already. So the pros for this build, I think, is that you have a great DPS output. Your survivability is good because you're using double totem and you're shocking everything because you're dealing so much crit and so much DPS. So here are the pros. This is just my thoughts. So yeah, you don't have to agree with that, but I think it's very good pros for this build. The cons, however, I think it's pretty difficult to play alone on this build, playing solo. So because your totems are getting focused every time by the mobs, and as you know, Stormcore has a short delay to be casted. So uh, once you put your totem on the ground, uh, it takes a few seconds for the lightning storm, to be called on the ground. So yeah, it's you can play solo with this build, but you will have a much more easier time by playing in a party. This build also, another con is that it's not that cheap. It's not crazy expensive, but it's a CI build, so you're very gear dependent, and you have to take very good gear to be sure that you're not going to die, and you're dealing good DPS as well. So yeah, you need a bit of currency, and you have no armor in this build. You can get armor on if you're getting a crazy good scented chainmail with a nice amount of ES on it, or armor on your belt, but basically you have no armor. You're not running iron reflexes, grace, or that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a con, definitely. So as far as the passive skill tree is concerned, I will just show you in a quick overview. I will put a link in the description. Sorry. So I'm level 89, starting with the Templar, grabbing these nodes, elemental AOE nodes, very important. There's one I have to respect. I forgot about this one. So nice. Armored energy shield here. Armored energy shield as well. Of course, you taking ancestral bond. That's a very important keynote for this build. Going to the witch area here. AoE nodes. Power charge. Mana nodes. Here is some crit multiplier, energy shield, chaos speed, of course, chaos inoculation with the node after the nodes after it. Buff for your auras, for discipline, it's very cool. Crit, pretty much crit power charges. So you have 7 power charges, 3 additional from the passive skill tree, and another one from Alira. Nullification, of course, here, very important too. So here for the passive skill tree. For the leveling, you're just using this way, but you have to grab live nodes on the way. You're just grabbing the nodes that are very close to you. So this one, these. I grab this one as well. Um, well, this one and these. So you have, I suggest you switch to CI at level 68. So I think I had like 200% increase maximal life. So it was very enough. It was enough to go to merciless. Yeah. Um, so as I was saying, you have to switch to CI at around level 68. Why level 68? Because at level 68 you can use a Val Regalia. Um, you have uh, to uh, to get your gear before that. So my advice will be, just when you're leveling, uh, buy some PCs, buy your gear while you're doing your leveling, and put it all together at once when you switch to CI. So that's what I did, and just level with anything you want, with I don't know, Lip Slam, Spectratron, anything, or Storm Call. But if you're not leveling with Storm Call, and you have to keep in mind that you gotta level your gems during your leveling Storm Call, Spell Totems, and things like that. So keep that in mind. It's very important. So if you're buying your gear during your leveling, keep in mind also that you have to be careful to be cat resist with your gear. So you have to make some calculations when you're buying your gear. No, that's not hard math. You just have to keep that in mind. So we are getting a fair amount, fairly good amount of resistances from the passive tree, but of course you need some resistances on your gear too. You can switch to, well, it's not set in stone, but my personal preference is to switch to double totem when I'm farming ledge merciless. So, but that's up to you. But that's when I switch to double totem. So for the links in your for Storm Call, so you're getting Storm Call, Spell Totem, of course, faster casting, third link, Lightning Pen, very important. A lot of mobs have elemental resistances or lightning resistances, so you need lightning penetration. And fifth link is increased area of effect. As a sixth link, I will suggest either crit damage, no, the crit damage gem, not the crit chance one, but the crit damage one, or empower if you have an empower. So because as you're using a spell, yeah, one level more for a spell is very huge, especially at higher levels. So here are for the links. You need yes, no, Ice Spear level 1 and Power Charge on critical, faster casting, GMP. It's just to charge your to get your power charges up. So you don't have to level Ice Spear, so you're just spamming the, yeah. So the more you're critting the mobs, the more you're getting power charges. Cast one damage taken, that's up to you. I'm just using blind, summon skeletons, and enduring cry. Mine is level 4. It's completely up to you for this one. Nothing is mandatory here. I'm using also lightning warp with reduced duration and faster casting, so I can either moving faster in maps with chill ground or things like that, or escaping difficult situations pretty fast. Sorry. For the cures, I'm just using critical weakness, conductivity. When you don't have that much crit, but once you start to get a fairly good amount of crit chance, crit multiplier, go with crit weakness is totally the better one for this build. For the auras, clarity, mine is level 15. Reduce mana, of course. Purity of elements if you're going in elemental weakness maps and you'll not cap resist anymore. And of course discipline. So when you're going to ele weakness maps, you just turn off clarity, you grab a surgeon mana flask, and you put on purity of elements. The quality gems priority, sorry, is of course Storm Call. So quality on Storm Call is 4% increased critical strike chance, for 1% quality percent, so it's very very good. Grab a 20% quality storm core, it's very important. So and if you can get a level 20 quality gem when you're switching to CI in level at level 68, it's very good too, because of course as storm core is a spell, his damage is scaling with the level of the gem. I grabbed myself a 20 quality level 18 storm core, but if you can get a level 20 quality when you're switching to CI, yeah, it's gonna be very good in DPS speaking, of course. So for the flasks, I'm using a surgeon flask. Are basically very good. You're creating so much. Either it be with your ice spear or with your totems, that your flask will always fill up. So uh, grab your surgeon's flask. Surgeon's granite flask of iron skin, very important. So it's your main source of armor. Here, surgeon granite flask of stone shank. You need stone shank flask. Because if you are encountering a corrupting blood mob with ice spear, you will get bleeding stacks here, so you need a stoshing flask. Avenger quicksilver flask of adrenaline here, a surgeon mana flask of iron skin, and surgeon granite flask of warding. Very important to grab a warding flask against X1 mobs, because when you get silent, oh man, that's just so annoying, because your totems just stop casting, and sometimes the X1 mobs die, and you're getting silent for like 10 seconds, so it's very annoying. Grab the two mandatory runs. I will three mandatory runs. I will say are Sergeant of Fire Skin, Sergeant of Searching, sorry, and Sergeant of Warding. Here for the flask, for the gear. What type of gear you're looking for? So for the wand, a spell damage wand, high spell damage, and crit. Here I have increased crit chance for spells and increased crit chance. You can get multiplier mana. Cast speed is good also, but basically high spell damage and crit. Um, on the other pieces, so grab on the main pieces, so gloves, boots, chest, helmet, and the shield. You have to take high ES gear everywhere. So your chaos inoculation, so you need ES, because that's otherwise you will die, and you don't want to die if you're playing Nemesis, as I am. So uh, I would suggest, however, to focus on for the resistances, to focus on your non-DPS gear. So non-DPS gear is helmet and the gloves. So why am I saying this is because if you're not dependent on your shield and on your rings for resistances, or on your amulet, you can focus on DPS. And it's very important to not be dependent on your chest for resistances when you're CI, because if you need the chest is your main source of energy shield. So if you need a chest with double resist, you will have a hard time to find one with high ES, and if you find it, it's gonna cost a crazy amount of currencies. So this one, for example, is 746 energy shield, and it has almost no resist. But I don't need resistances. Why? Because when I buffed my gear, I focused on the for resistances on the helmet and on the gloves. I have also a fair amount of resistances on my belt, and one of my ring have also lightning resist and the implicit double resist. But I managed to get cast speed on this and mana energy shield also. But if you cap resist before buying your chest and your shield, it's very good, because you can and your amulet also, because you can focus on DPS on these ones, and you can focus on energy shield on that one, and it will save you a crazy amount of currency. Believe me, believe me. So no ES everywhere. You need IES on the shield. You if you have a good wealth, you can also grab DPS. So here is almost 300 energy shield with spell damage, crit critical strike chance for spells. Sorry. Um, Dream Fragments, it's mandatory. Well, it's not mandatory. You can play with flash with off eat suffix, but it's very painful. You will get frozen anytime, especially in added core damage map. So grab yourself a Dream Fragment. It will save your life, and it will save your brain of not getting crazy by getting frozen every time. So Dream Fragments around 1 exalt now in Nemesis, I guess. Rainbow Stride, very good boost. The mana is very important, so you have a nice mana roll on the Rainbow Stride. Very good amount of energy shield, movement speed, 8 resist. The legacy ones have 20, but you're in Nemesis, you don't have access to legacy ones. Very nice boots. So as I said on the gloves, energy shield resistances. Yeah, that's pretty much this. Of course, for the belt, you can take energy shield implicit, explicit, so chain belt plus an explicit energy shield roll, resistances and armor if you can. Here it doesn't have armor, but yeah, armor is always good, of course. So I know I'm just repeating myself, but focus on resist on non-DPS pieces, and on and you don't have to be dependent on your chest for your resistances. Otherwise, you will pay too much currencies for it. So, how much did I pay for all that? Just to give you an idea, I don't remember well, but I think for the one it was around 20 chaos. The helm was, I think, 10 chaos. The shield, which is pretty good, was around 20 chaos as well. The amulet, I don't remember. 1 exile for the Dream Fragments, I paid 1 pure. For the unlink Val Regalia here, I paid 1x. I don't remember for that ring, but it wasn't that expensive. For the gloves, I think it was around 5 and 10 chaos. I don't remember. The chain belt, it was 2 chaos. It was a crazy good deal from a great guy, Muffet Mojo, something like that. He has a very cool shop in Nemesis with Arnold Schwarzenegger pictures, and basically what he's doing is just alking random whites from time to time, and whenever it's good, he put it on his shop for 2 chaos, and he sold me that for 2 chaos, saying, I don't believe I'm selling it for 2 chaos, but yet it was 2 chaos. And for the Rainbow Stride, it was 1 exalt as well, if I remember correctly. So here here is for the build. For the gear, sorry, and for bandits, basically what you gotta do is kill in by grabbing the passive points in normal, in cruel, and getting the power charge in merciless. So you have to help Alira. So I'm just going to show you how it works with 1 minute of gameplay here in City of Sun. I'm 89, so I'm just going to basically just crushing everything, but it's just to give you a general idea, sorry, on how it's working. So basically, whenever you're encountering mobs, yeah, putting your totem, cursing, and everything gets destroyed here, and you're charging your CB. So as you can see, I get CB charges here. You're you're getting your power charges with Ice Spear when your totems are doing the job. Cursing here. So yes. And you're hiding behind your totems. Very little covered. There it is. I'm just going to finish the run here. So as you can see, it's always the same tactics. You're putting your totems, cursing, and either you're refreshing your charges if you're still having them, or you're getting them by using Ice Spear. So you see the tactic here. one important thing, gameplay speaking, is elemental reflect. Of course, you don't get the reflect yourself because you're using totems, but your totem, because you're dealing a very good amount of DPS and you're creating, are getting destroyed by elemental reflect. So you have to be prepared to spam your totem as crazy. So there was no elemental reflect mob here, but you have to keep that in mind. So yeah, that's all. I said pretty much everything about the build. So have fun, guys, and see you in Waycast.